Guys, back again with that second video, focusing on the legs again. We're going to do a few variations of some single leg exercises you can do. I know Daniel had mentioned last time you guys were in, he had read an article about Dustin Johnson and some of the training he does, and mentioned that he had been doing some single leg squats. Single leg squats are a great way to strengthen the leg and isolate each leg independently. All the time you can break up each leg independently and work each leg separately, you can get some better results that way. So obviously one way to do a single leg squat would be to use some sort of straps. In this case, if you have the TRX, you're going to be able to use your hands to take a little bit of your body weight off the movement. Obviously doing a full single leg squat with no assistance is hard. It's something you need to build into. So a good way to start is give yourself some sort of support. So what I'm going to do is plant that foot on the ground. I'm still thinking about trying to move through my hips, getting my butt going back and not going into my knees like we talked about in any sort of squatting, lunging. You want to take care of those knees. So I'm going to use my hands as little as I need to, but I know they're there to help me come out of this squat if I need them. So I'm going to put that free leg out in front. I'm going to drop those hips back. Again, if you watch my knee, it's not going to come too far forward. My chest will come forward just a little bit, hopefully kind of matching up with my shin angle of the planted leg. I'm to about 90, and I'm going to push up. Again, always pushing up to my heel. I use my hands a little bit to help myself up. Again, I'm going to progress, hopefully, to doing a full single leg squat without any assistance. Okay? So if you have an option where you have some sort of straps or something where you can hold on to and kind of stabilize yourself a little bit, you can really work on getting that motion down of squatting on one leg. So you can start with two hands, with a little tighter grip, work into a much lighter grip, going to one hand, okay? So you can kind of progress. From there, once you feel like you've kind of got that motion down, what you could do is use one of your benches, okay, that you have at your gym, at the school. What I tell people to do is start by sitting on the bench, okay? One leg out, and then from there, work on standing up, pushing through the heel. And again, try not to let that knee cave in as you come up. And we're trying not to go from a good neutral position. We're not breaking out into the low back and then throwing our body up as we come up. So it's good to start seated. Okay? If you need to use your hands a little bit, you can use your hands. Put the leg down and reset. And even though you're sitting and standing up, trying to maintain good posture, it's tough. You really feel that leg working. So you could do 10, 12 reps on each leg. Again, trying to keep this leg out in front. Thinking about a little bit of a forward chest lean, tight navel. I'm trying not to create any momentum. I'm just trying to stand straight up through my heel. Okay, so from there, then you can go from top to bottom. Okay, which is again a little bit harder. Now I have to decelerate my weight, but I can use the bench to sit on, set for a second, and then come up. So it's going to look a little something like this. Obviously my balance is being challenged. I'm going to sit, find that bench, drive up through the heel. Okay? Each time I'm tapping the foot down between reps, I'm trying to still maintain good body posture and up. From there, I can work to a little less of a rest at the bottom, where I'm just tapping and then I'm coming up. Tapping, coming up. But I still want to control myself as I go down. That last one I kind of fell into it and that bench stopped me. Ideally, eventually that bench isn't going to be there. So even though in my mind I know it's there, I still want to feel like I'm decelerating my weight. And I'm just using that bench to gauge my depth and get some consistency. Okay? From there, next step is I don't tap that leg between, and I'm just going one rep right into the next, from there would be to take that bench away. Let's see if I can do one with that leg out. Trying to sit as deep as I can and then coming up. As you can see, my balance was off, wasn't engaging those glutes as much as I should. So again, as I'm sitting down, don't want that hip internally rotated. I want to feel like that glute medius is firing to help stabilize that hip. I'm pushing my butt back, trying to get low, push up through my heel. Okay? So some progressions you can use. Start with something to help stabilize you, give you a little bit of lift coming out of that squat. Try to get the parallel if you can with that quad, just to get the feeling of that depth. It's going to stretch those glutes out. And then move to your box, okay, or your bench, starting from bottom, coming up. Then you can do a down, pause, then up, then a little bit of a lesser pause, just the tap of the butt and up, and then move out away from the box, do your squat. And again, 10 reps is going to be a lot once you start doing single leg squats with no assistance. But when you have the bench, 10 to 15 reps on each leg, 2 or 3 sets, you're really going to feel it in those quads. Okay. Another great single leg exercise, not quite as hard, but something maybe you could start with even before you go to the straps, but it's still going to really work each leg independently, challenge your balance. We call this one elevated split squat. So I'm going to throw that foot up on the bench, and ideally I want to put a flat foot up there. Okay? It feels a little bit uncomfortable, especially if my ability to extend that foot out, okay? Plantar flexion is what that's called, is limited. It's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but we're just going to start with body weight. So I have a nice flat foot. I'm going to use a stick behind my back to keep my chest up. Pop that foot out. You drop down. You're going to get a big stretch of that quad hip flexor. So this leg is at least ideally parallel, and then I'm pushing up to my heel. I want to make sure this front foot is out far enough so that my knee isn't going out past my toes. This back knee is dropping down and back a little bit, so I'm maintaining just a little bit of a forward chest lean, so I'm not arching my back and trying to stay vertical, completely vertical. So as you can see, shin angle, chest angle, relatively the same, and I push up to my heel. Don't feel like you have to get all the way down as deep as I'm getting right to start with. If you're tight through here, you're going to know pretty quick, so don't force it. If I can only get to here with good form, then that's fine. Then I just know I really need to focus on rolling and stretching out those hip flexors a little bit more. Okay, so maybe 10, 15 reps on each leg. Body weight with a stick. Just find the range of motion you can control, and then progress so that we're getting down. And a nice flat foot. Another reason we want to go flat foot is once we start adding some load, some dumbbells, if I'm up on my toes and I add extra weight, all that pressure is going to feel a lot more uncomfortable on the toes than the flat foot. Okay? So if you can, try to go flat foot. On a bench like this is nice because it's padded. It's going to be a little more comfortable than a hard plyo box. Okay? So some great options for some single leg work. Once you get through 2 or 3 weeks of the body weight, 2 or 3 sets, maybe 3 times a week. Then you can progress to some lighter dumbbells. Slow, controlled tempo, body weight, get the movement pattern down. And watch each other. Knees shouldn't be wobbling around too much. If it's out a little bit, that's better than a knee that's caving in. If it's pushing out just a little, it's okay. It means that the glutes are firing. We don't want a huge compensation with our knee way out to the side. We don't want a knee caving in at all. And knee should stay right over the foot. So you can kind of help each other out as you're taking turns doing the exercise and watch each other. Okay? Again, if you have any questions, email me.